Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Justin and you are watching That Christian Vlogger. And today I have another bonus video for this week, and I'm going to be having several bonus videos over the next couple of weeks. So make sure that your channel notifications are on to know when those videos do come out. A few weeks ago when I was in California, I actually got invited by my friends over at Pray.com to go over to Santa Monica and to check out their headquarters and to learn more about their new app. Pray.com is a brand new website slash app type of thing where basically Christians can come together to get encouragement and advice and prayer and support and all that kind of stuff, all within the context of an app. And so I am posting regular content there, some bonus stuff that you will not see on the YouTube channel. So there will be a link below if you want to join my private community, get prayer, and to share your own thoughts. You can do so by clicking the link below. But while I was there, we also had the opportunity to do a fun little interview, and I wanted to share that with you guys. So hopefully you guys enjoy today, and I will see you guys in our next video.
So my name is Jennifer Matthews, and I'm part of Pray.com, and I'm interviewing Justin Khoe from That Christian Vlogger. We're here today to make a little video that we are going to use to promote the Daily Christian channel on Pray.com. So Justin, tell me about your background and how you came to find your faith.
So I come from actually a rather long line of Christians in the family. My great-grandfather on my mother's side was an evangelist in the Philippines, and actually, from what I hear, rather good one. In fact, recently, a couple December, two years ago in December, I actually got to go to the Philippines and preach at the church that he planted, that he started.
Oh, that's
so it was a really cool experience.
Yeah.
And on my father's side, something like my great-great-great-great-grand-uncle, I don't know how many greats,
right.
How great he was. But he was an orphan in Indonesia. At least this is what I was told. He was an orphan in Indonesia, and some missionaries took him in and kind of looked after him. And so that's kind of how Christianity was introduced on both sides. So I come from a very long line of Christians, but for me in particular, I think everyone kind of goes through this moment where it's kind of your parents' thing, and eventually, hopefully, becomes your thing, and it becomes a personal relationship with God. And that, for me, took place right after I graduated from high school.
Wow, that's incredible. So how did you decide to start a YouTube channel?
Yeah, YouTube was not something that I was, great at. I have very little experience, photography, videography, anything else like that. But the reason why I did it was because there was this girl that I was rather interested in. I was dating this girl. I was like, man, this is working out great. And I figured, this is probably going to be the one for me. And so I thought, something that would be really cool to have is to have a video of me proposing to her, her reaction, to be something nice to kind of look back on. And so I bought a GoPro and I started practicing videoing and everything else like that. And so I videoed the entire thing, made a nice little cut with music and stuff, proposed. Obviously things ended up working out. But that's how YouTube kind of started for me. So it never really was a ministry. It was entirely selfish. just for me to get this girl was really what it was all about.
Okay, I'm betting that you have the best story about why you started a YouTube channel.
That's
pretty awesome.
But the ministry part is less than exciting than the marriage thing. Yeah, I mean it's cool, great. But it's kind of just kind of a personal, selfish thing.
Right.
The ministry kind of came years afterwards.
Right. It's all icing on the cake after you got the girls.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it. So on your channel it says faith in first person, helping you grow in grace. How did you decide on that tagline?
Yeah, literally, I text messaged a bunch of my friends, said, hey, I'm thinking about starting a YouTube channel. I want to do some vlogging involved with it. What should my tagline be? And one of my friends said, hey, faith in first person. Sounds good to me, works. And there's kind of like a double meaning to that tagline, faith in first person. So one way that you can look at it is that the faith in the first person, so it could be God, faith in God, he's the first being, kind of a thing. So that's one, that the purpose of the channel is to help people connect with God and to have more faith in Him. And then the other is kind of a play on the first person pronoun, like from my perspective. The channel really is not so much about the answers, it's about having everything perfectly figured out, but it's simply my faith journey lived out. You are experiencing my personal first person perspective journey with Jesus.
Now, as you see, there's been like over 100 million hits on Christian YouTube channels, and different Instagram, profiles are popping up daily. What are some of the positive ways that you've seen technology affect the world of faith?
Yeah, I think it's amazing, and people like to separate technology from other mediums or other things as if technology is something special. People ask me like, "Oh, should you be on YouTube? Is that good? Is that bad? Is it evil?" It's just like, No, I mean, there's good and bad in anything. Books are another form of medium. You know, there's nothing different from a video versus a book. What matters is the message behind it. And that's what I'm excited to see so many people of faith embracing technology and really trying to use that to get the message out. One experience that stands out probably the most to me was someone had sent me a private message saying, hey, you know, Justin, I need your advice because I am very interested in going to a church, but there's no churches nearby me. I don't know what to do. And I didn't quite have the right perspective because I was kind of brisk. I was kind of maybe a little too harsh with that person. I was like, come on, be real. There's a church somewhere nearby. Stop making excuses. Yeah. You know, if you don't have a car, you don't have like a family member who's supportive of your faith journey, just call the church, call the pastor or an elder and say, hey, I'm interested in coming. Would you pick me up? And, you know, 9 times out of 10, a church is going to be willing to do that, at least, you know, once or twice, right? Well, I get the message back and the person says, you know, no, sorry, I didn't explain it very carefully. I live in a Muslim country. There are no churches nearby at all. And so I was like, oh my goodness, like that is not the perspective, that's not the lens that I was thinking of this question in the least bit. And so what's exciting is that through technology is you get to reach people who literally would have no other way of hearing of the gospel. There are people, whether they live in the States or they live overseas or wherever, there are entire categories of people who would never go to church, who would never talk to a priest or to a pastor or to a Bible teacher or anything, but they'll watch YouTube or they'll get on Twitter or Instagram. And so it's exciting to see Christians embracing these new mediums, these new platforms, and sharing the gospel through that.
Yeah. What do you think are some of the biggest issues facing Christians today?
Oh my goodness, I don't even know if I can comment on that. Biggest issues that Christians face, I think that's too hard to give a singular answer to. I think every Christian's journey is individual. It's very different from one from another. So to answer that would be kind of presumptuous, I would think. Yeah. I would say that we all struggle with many different things. But that's the beauty of having social media to be able to reach out to people, is because you get to find someone who's going through exactly what you're going through. You find someone that you can relate with through these mediums. So I don't know. I'm sorry to answer your question by saying I don't have an answer to that question.
Yeah. So in light of all the recent terrorist attacks and all the violence going on in the world, what do you feel is the best way to respond as Christians? And how can we use technology to respond in a Christ-like way?
I don't know what the best way to respond to that is, but I would say some of the most inspiring ways that I've seen people respond to. You know, there have been churches in the States in the recent years that have been the victim of gun violence. Someone has literally walked into a prayer group, starts shooting up the group or whatever the case is. And to me, what has been the most inspiring, and I think the greatest example of Christ in action, is when I saw these people testifying at this guy's hearing and say, you know what, we forgive you. You know, what you did hurt us, but we forgive you and we love you. And if you ever get out of this situation, we would welcome you back into our group. We really quite liked you and we would love to see you come back. To me, fighting evil with that type of love is exactly what Jesus would do, and I think it has the most power in the world as well.
So transformative. What do you think is something that Christians underestimate about prayer, about the act of prayer?
I would say that many people are still skeptical about what prayer does. Does prayer actually work? And really, what is a prayer that works? What does that actually look like? Not too long ago, I was doing a seminar on prayer. And I said something to the effect that, you know, prayer isn't so much about helping God to understand you as much as it is to helping you understand God. And a lot of times I think we like to say, oh God, this is what I'm going through and I'm praying, and so you need to come in and enter into my life and fix it. And God's saying, no, you got it backwards. That's not what prayer is about. Prayer may do that. You know, the Bible gives us examples of humans praying and God responding. But I think the majority of the situations, it's more about us learning what God is doing in a situation. So I think that the power of prayer really is to give us the eyes of faith, to be able to open up our eyes, like I think it's Elisha. You know, we're surrounded by an enemy, and the servant's freaking out, and he says, no, don't worry, greater, there's more that are with us than that are with them, right? And he says, really, where? And so Elisha simply prays. He says, God, open his eyes. And boom, he sees the situation differently because he's surrounded by chariots of fire. And I think prayer gives us the ability to do that, to be able to see God where we might have missed him otherwise.
So you just got back from Europe. You had these incredible travel adventures. Was there a specific instance you experienced where you really felt God's presence there?
I would say that it's hard to experience the kind of trip that I went on all throughout Europe without experiencing God. I mean, you see him in so many different areas. You see him in the beautiful cathedrals that are, thousands of years old, maybe not thousands, but 1,000 years old. You see him in these massive buildings and in the great pomp and circumstance, but then you also see God in the humility of the simple people up in the mountains who have served God for hundreds of years. You get to see him in nature, and so I think God really can be experienced anywhere if you're open to experiencing him.
Yeah, and what are some personal goals for you in your ministry in the next year or so?
I really only have one goal, and that's to follow God where he leads me. I have, visions and hopes of things that I would accomplish, but really the only thing that I care to do is where God leads, I follow. And whatever that looks like, even if it's something that I have not yet thought of, I would love to do that more than the thing that I've thought of.
Gosh, I love that. Really following God's will for your life.
Right.
I think that ties into what you were saying about prayer. Sometimes, as opposed to like praying for a specific outcome,
Exactly.
praying for God's will.
Exactly. I could
That's
pray
hard.
that I'm successful in that my channel does this or my ministry accomplishes that, but who knows? That may not be what God wants me to do. He might have something even greater planned, or something that I might not even think is as great but has a bigger impact on the world. And so I think being flexible with your goals and your visions is more valuable than accomplishing every goal.
I love that. And to conclude, do you have any words of encouragement for Christians, or just any words that you live by?
I would say something that I try to pray regularly is, God, just lead me where you want me to go. I'll go where you want me to go is kind of a theme in one of the older hymns. I'll go where you want me to go. I'll be what you want me to be. Say what you want me to say. And for me, that's kind of been the theme of my life, or at least I hope it is the theme of my life. There are days I get it better, days I don't do so good. But at the end of the day, that is what I'm hoping my life is about.
Well, it's very encouraging to watch your journey and to kind of see what you're doing and how you step out for God. And I know he'll honor your heart and he'll reward you for that.
Thank you. I appreciate
Thank
that.
you.